migration in the hemisphere. In addition to expanding access to lawful pathways, complementing and bolstering regional efforts along with partner countries to provide life-saving assistance, providing access to protection for those who need it. We're also helping countries integrate refugees and migrants into their communities. One of the innovative measures that we introduced recently is regional processing centers. And this is really part of the effort on lawful pathways. It is to provide easier access to protection and other lawful pathways. So once these are fully operational, migrants will be able to access lawful pathways from where they are and avoid putting their lives and their life savings into the hands of criminal actors. Our international partners launched the website. It's movilidadsegura.org. They launched it on May 11th, and it's now available in English and Spanish and Creole. This is really an important step towards operationalizing the center's initiative. The website right now contains information on processes that will be available, and we're updating it regularly as new pathways come online and as the initiatives roll out. We'll soon have the site updated so that migrants will be able to request appointments for pre-screening. And eventually we will include information on regular pathways to Spain and Canada that will be accessible. We've committed to considering thousands of additional individuals per month from the Western Hemisphere for refugee resettlement through the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program. We've welcomed 6 times as many refugees from Latin America and the Caribbean in 2022 as during the previous year, and we're on track to more than double those arrivals in this fiscal year. We're currently processing U.S. RAP cases in 19 countries in the region, and we're doing refugee resettlement faster through an innovative and streamlined approach. The United States is the largest single provider of humanitarian assistance in the Western Hemisphere. In the past 2 years, we provided $2.4 billion in humanitarian assistance and nearly $2.1 billion in development, economic, and health assistance across the Western Hemisphere on behalf of the American people. This assistance has and continues to complement the efforts of our regional partners, host governments in the region who have been generous in integrating and regularizing many migrants. The RPCs are just the latest, the newest innovative part of a comprehensive and multifaceted approach to managing migration in the region. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We'll open it up for a few Q&A. If you can, just use the raise your hand function to ask a question and identify your name and media outlet for our speakers. First, we'll go to Diane with the Dallas Morning News. If you can unmute and ask a question.
Thank you again for having yet another on the record session with us. Can you detail the challenges that you face both to operational efficiencies for federal agencies and to migrants by the Texas governor's call to bring in more support, more troops to the border?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We need to make sure that any actions taken on the border that involve law enforcement personnel are coordinated with the federal government and with our state and local partners. There is outstanding coordination taking place at the local level each and every day. We have seen, however, at times that Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott take actions that are being done really for purely political reasons and that do not involve the kind of coordination that we really need to see at the border. We are confident in our men and women on the front lines' ability to conduct their border operations in a safe, humane, and secure manner. And we, again, call on the governors to make sure that any steps they take are done in coordination with our federal personnel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Adam Shaw with Fox. You can unmute. Okay, I actually don't see him in the queue anymore, so we'll go to Kate Morrissey, San Diego Union Tribune.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to ask some questions. I have two about asylum at ports of entry. One, how is the app deciding who will get appointments? I saw something about a percentage going to the oldest accounts, like what percentage is going to those? We're seeing families of the same size who have been waiting different amounts of time, and sometimes the one who's been waiting shorter amounts of time is getting the appointment. So why would that be happening? Secondly, on what grounds are officers still turning people away at ports of entry when they're coming to request asylum?
Yeah, thank you for those questions, Kate. We have made changes to the CBP the CBP1 mobile application in over the last week in order to make the process easier to use for migrants who wish to present in a safe and orderly manner. Those changes include allowing migrants to schedule their appointment at their leisure during most of the day. And then we take it offline for an hour and we run a random drawing that selects who will be allowed to present at a port of entry. We are giving some increased weight to people who have been waiting the longest, but it is a random drawing, and that is intended really to be equitable. We have made changes to the app as well to ensure that families are able to present together, when they have an appointment. With regards to our ports of entry, we are not turning individuals away at our ports of entry. I would note, however, that individuals who do not use the CBP1 application at our ports of entry will be subject to the lawful pathways rule. And that does mean that there will be conditions on their ability to claim asylum at the port of entry if they have not used one of the lawful pathways that we have, again, dramatically expanded or been denied asylum in one of the countries they traveled through. That said, we are prioritizing processing for a CBP1 appointments. And so individuals who line up at our ports of entry may need to wait extended periods of time. Thank you.
Thanks, Blas. We'll go to Jackie Charles from the Miami Herald next. Jackie?
Yes, hi. Thank you for doing this. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the Haitian migrants that are coming. One, how many Creole speakers do you have to process them? And I did not hear you mention Haitians in terms of people who have been returned back to Mexico. So what is that migration flow looking since Title 42 went away?
Thanks, Jackie. We continue to not really see many Haitians crossing unlawfully in between ports of entry. Again, we attribute that to the really historic and significant expansion of lawful pathways for Haitian migrants to come directly to the United States, obviously through the enforcement parole processes that were stood up for Haitians in January. And as I mentioned in my statement, we are seeing Haitian nationals consistently being among the top nationalities processed through our ports of entry through the CBP1 mobile application. In terms of the number of Creole speakers, I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't have that number with me, but we do have a substantial number of individuals who work for CBP and CIS who speak Haitian Creole, and then obviously we have access to translation services as needed as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Blas. And Jackie will follow up with you. Our next question comes from Michelle Hackman, Wall Street Journal. Michelle?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for doing this. Blas or anyone, I'm wondering if you could give us a little bit more detail on the CHNV program and specifically which nationalities are actually using it the most. It's our understanding that Cubans are making up sort of the vast majority of the 30,000 slots a month. Is that right?
I don't believe that's accurate. I don't have the numbers before me, but we ensure that there's an equitable number of individuals from the 4 countries who are being processed each day as part of the process. I think there has been, as I think we've noted, a strong demand for these parole processes. And the bottom line is that they have been working. We have seen a really dramatic reduction in crossings of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Haitians since the programs were expanded in early January. Thank you.
Thanks, Blas. Next question comes from Elliot Spagat.
Hi, sorry about that. And thank you again for doing all these calls on the record. I was wondering if you could provide some numbers first on the number of notices to appear in immigration court that you've issued, people who have been released in the U.S. with notices to appear in immigration court since Friday, and also the latest number on people in Border Patrol custody, and if that decline still makes there was a preliminary injunction issued last night in Florida, whether that makes the emergency order emergency measure on parole with conditions less pressing.
Yeah, the first thing I would note is that individuals who are processed by Customs and Border Protection and the Border Patrol, are thoroughly vetted against our national security and public safety databases, and they are required to report to immigration and customs enforcement officials if they are for some reason released pending their court proceedings. I don't have specific numbers in terms of how many individuals have received notices to appear since Friday, but again, I think, what we have seen is, administrations of both parties, frankly, using various mechanisms to release individuals from custody as needed. We continue to believe that the Florida ruling is a harmful one that could create dangerous conditions for migrants in our custody, as well as, frankly, our Border Patrol staff on the front lines. That said, we have seen a reduction in our in-custody numbers in recent days, which, again, we attribute to this, the encouraging early signs that encounters have been dropping in the last few days, I should say. But again, it is still too early to draw any definitive conclusions here, and we will be watching the situation unfold by the hour.
Thanks, Ahmed. Thanks, Blas. We have time for just a couple more. I'm going to go to Ahmed with the LA Times next. Ahmed, if you can unmute.
Hey, Blas. I had a question about the returns of Venezuelans, Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Haitians to Mexico. You used the word return. I was interested in how many of those individuals were voluntarily decided to go back to Mexico, and how many were deported, if you could.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Hamed. We are offering nationals of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela the opportunity to voluntarily return to Mexico if they are encountered crossing unlawfully between ports of entry, but we are also removing individuals who do not take advantage of that opportunity back to Mexico as well. I don't have the specific numbers in terms of how many have voluntarily returned versus how many have been removed in front of me, though.
Thanks, Blas. Last question, we'll go to Camila with CBS.
Hi, Blas. Can you just give us a specific figure on the number of returns and deportations since the expiration of Title 42? You said thousands. Can you just give a specific figure like the one you gave for Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, please? And then the last question is, can you also just talk about what you're seeing in terms of Thank you.
Camila, you broke up there at the end. I can answer the first question, which is, as I noted in my prepared remarks, it does take some time for the data in our operational systems, operational systems, frankly, that were never created for, like real-time reporting of statistics to settle and for us to be comfortable kind of releasing those numbers. We do anticipate, though, that we will have some more specific numbers for you all in the coming days. And you broke up there, so I didn't quite get your second question.
Sorry, the second question, if you can hear me now, I'm on a train, is how you're seeing this increased enforcement by Mexico and Guatemala and other countries impact migration flows in the region. You talked about the declining numbers along the Darien Gap.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Camilo. We have been, as I mentioned on Monday, we attribute the reduction in encounters at our border both to the consequences that we have strengthened and put in place for unlawful entry and the lawful pathways that we have expanded, but also to the actions of our foreign partners. We have been working very closely with governments across the region in order to both enhance access to lawful pathways, but also to enforce their immigration laws and their borders. We have seen deployments of law enforcement and military personnel by the governments of Mexico and Guatemala to enforce their southern borders. We understand that the governments of Panama and Colombia are also undertaking a joint effort to attack smuggling networks in the Darien. We are seeing some initial results, as I noted, with decreases in individuals leaving Colombia, transiting the Darien and entering Panama. So we are, encouraged again by these early signs that all of these actions are having their intended effect. But as I've noted over and over again, we also recognize that the smuggling networks, the coyotes, the drug cartels will continue to weaponize misinformation in order to drive up their profits and put migrants' lives at risk. And we're going to be watching all of this extremely closely in the coming days, and obviously we'll update you as needed.
Thank you so much, Blas. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If we didn't get to your question today, feel free to email us at mediainquiry@hq.dhs.gov. Thanks so much.